Hey, so I thought I would do the how I got started in the music business video. I've seen a lot of these career videos. I was really enjoyed them, and I wanted to do one about how I got started in music and my current path in music and how I'm still working on it. So, I've got a little list here. It all started when I was in high school. I didn't know what I was interested in when I was young. I did chorus when I was like in school, but so I knew I liked that. But when I started high school, I was taking drama. I was in a drama class my freshman year, and it just I think I just needed something to fill out my schedule, and I was really nervous about it. But it was my last period. I had to have, I think if they called them electives, I had to have an elective class in addition to my core curriculum. So I chose drama, and I actually ended up loving it. I ended up loving acting. I ended up loving being on stage, and I actually got involved with a lot of the productions where I was backstage crew, and I was usually doing building sets, moving sets during the show, or props. Usually, we had so much fun during the rehearsals and tech week, and I loved it all. As my favorite show I was involved with was Pippin. Um, I should say I'm still a huge fan of Pippin to this day. That's a really good one. And like we just had such a blast doing that. And I fell in love with production work. I fell in love with backstage work, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. Um, I don't really remember this, but I was reading back through a lot of my old diaries where I wrote about how I wanted to do this, and even then I knew that it was what I wanted. Um, I went on to college, and that was kind of put on the back burner. I was studying music, but I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to do music, but I ended up studying music theory for like 3 semesters, and it was very hard. It was very difficult. I ended up changing my major like 2 more times, and um, it's just school is really hard because I have ADD. So I think that made like school really difficult for me. If you've had ADD, you understand how difficult school is. It's very hard for people like us. We usually need tutors or additional help to get through our school courses. Um, um, but yeah, it didn't really work out for me going to college. I was going to a community college, and I just stopped going. And I was on like some kind of crazy academic probation anyway. Um, it ended up being pretty difficult, and I guess things just kind of. And after I dropped out of college, I got a job. I just quit school and went into a job, and I was working at a movie theater, and it kind of sucked. And I worked with these kids who were really young and really immature and really mean to me. And yeah, I guess things went on. Had a couple years that I didn't know what I wanted to do. Um, when I was about 24, I started listening to EDM, and I started listening to techno, and I started getting to DJs and reading about the rave culture. And the first DJ I saw was DJ Sasha. I went with some of my friends, and we went up to DC to see Sasha play at this club, and it was amazing. And I just fell in love with it from that moment on. I knew that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to DJ. I don't know if I could make a career out of it, but I remember I remember very well how it felt to see him up there in front of everyone, and everyone just being so excited by the music, and um like everyone dancing to his music, and how he like he was like orchestrating the whole, like, how the DJ was, like, orchestrating the whole, like, show, and it was, like, one-person show, but it was, like, everyone was participating in it, and I thought that was so cool. And, I actually went home from the show, and I was referred to a store called Turnstile here in Richmond. Turnstile is owned by local DJs who are amazing. I still go to their store all the time. I started learning to DJ from them, and I started going to the shows that were like local club shows put on by area DJs and area promoters. I started meeting a lot of the promoters and artists in the dance scene in Richmond, and I really wanted to get involved. So there was this guy whose name I kept seeing all over the flyers. He was a promoter and also a DJ, and I kept seeing his name everywhere. There was this production company that used to be really active in Richmond a few years back. They're not so much anymore, but it was their flyers that I kept seeing everywhere. And I got this guy, this promoter, I got his number from someone at Turnstile, and they had like a business card of him, and I cold called the guy, and I said, dropping stuff. I said, I don't know anything about the music business, and I'm very new to it, and I'm very eager to learn, and I want to start, and I want to work for you. That's basically what I said to him. And he said, you can hand out my flyers. And I was really excited, so I started street teaming for his shows. And he would just mail me this big pack of flyers, and I would just distribute them. And I didn't get paid, but it was something that I enjoyed. He would guest list us to all the club shows. All the promoters would get guest listed, and we would go and hang out. And I started to meet all the other promoters. They had like hundreds of people, like, you know, in the tri-state area, like, you know, beyond the tri-state area, and like they had a lot of people working to publicize their events, and it was so cool. Like, I actually met a bunch of other people. I started handing out flyers for shows. Most people will let you hand out flyers for the shows if you ask. That always needs to be done. No matter what level you are in the music business, you're going to be handing out flyers still. And, you know, that needs to be done. They always need a bunch of people to do it. So if you're looking to get started, handing out flyers is the way to go. You probably won't get paid, but it's a good way to break in. So as time went on, I started doing more and more research about how I could publicize shows. And I started researching press methods. And there was another DJ that I knew. He was doing a club night that wasn't going very well. The sales were really low, and well, generally the bar has to make a certain quota for the night to continue. Otherwise, the club won't invest in it. And at this point, the club wasn't bringing in enough money to support this weekly night that this guy was trying to do. So I said, I can help publicize your night. I can try, and we were trying to save this club night, and we didn't, but we worked really hard on it. I worked really hard. I wrote in press releases. I did these blogs. Again, I was doing everything I could to get my foot in the door, anything I could to get experience. I felt that I didn't have the experience level to actually apply for real jobs, so I thought I would build my resume. That, in addition to, in the dance music scene, nobody has a lot of money, and nobody can really pay promoters. And that's, like, generally, if you're doing the local shows, like, generally, that's how it is. Yeah, so this went on. I actually got a job with a record label, an indie startup record label, and I was hired as a publicist. And I was actually writing press releases and doing publicity for an artist on the label who was releasing their album through the label, and it was agreed to pay on a commission basis, but we didn't get sales as we expected, so I didn't, that didn't really pan out, and the label was shut down after a little while because it didn't really go as expected, but it was a great experience. Here in Richmond, we have a large concert series that runs during the summer. Innsbruck After Hours, that's been going on for a very long time, like 30 years now, and it's entirely run by volunteers. So I went out and volunteered at that, and sorry, pop-ups on my screen. I went out and volunteered at that, and through that summer, I got to know a lot of the people that worked in Innsbruck, and I get to, hands-on experience doing event staff. I was mostly scanning tickets, and I mostly worked the front gate. And through this, I got to gain knowledge more of the industry. As things progressed. Last year, I attended South by Southwest Music Conference for the first time. I actually just went to the festival. I was not registered. I was taking this huge trip, and I thought I would go to South by Southwest, and I ended up falling in love with it. It ended up being life-changing. And the second year, this year, I went back, and I actually got into the work exchange program. So I was working on these showcases for the agencies that were participating in South by Southwest, and I was on the stage crew. And you work in exchange for a conference registration, so you can get a badge, and you can go to all the panels, and you can meet all these people and go to all the shows, and get VIP to everything if you have a badge. So it's great to get one for free. So they're really expensive. So then this year I came back to volunteer at Innsbruck. Now from last year I already had established a relationship with a lot of the people that work there. So this year I really wanted to get more involved, and I decided that I wanted to job shadow the actual stage crew that works at Innsbruck. They are an outside company that provides the backline and sound mixing, and they do the lights with the roadies that are on tour with whoever's playing. So I got the stage manager's number, and I called him, and I asked him, can I come to observe your crew for the day? He said I could. So it was so great. I get to go out there, and I get to see how the stage crew operates. I get to stay for the whole day, and I watched the show from backstage, and it was so cool. I really just loved it, and I decided that I wanted to do it regularly. So I had to contact whoever was in charge. They had to clear it with the heads of production, but they let me come and do the regular setup in the mornings before the shows. And what I do now is I work with the interns who work at the venue. We kind of do setup of the venue before anything starts. So we're setting up the VIP tents. We are getting ice for all the bar areas. We are kind of organizing things. We are helping organize catering. Anything that needs to be done around the venue and backstage before the show. And I'd just like to say that as of now, I feel like I finally have the resume to apply for these big jobs. And I'm applying for big jobs. I'm getting called in for interviews at large production companies and actual venues for regular staff positions. And I'm very excited that I built a resume from nothing, and I finally get to be to a place where I'm taken seriously as a potential employee, having the experience level. So that's really how I started. Have an interview next week. I guess I will update on Twitter if I get the job. You can't really do that nowadays. But yeah, I hope I get hired. It's like an event staffing position. So would like work at festivals and stuff. So hopefully things are gonna go well. Just thought I'd make this video. Thank you.